And this is a trail that we walk just about every day. My wife and I walk down through. We haven't walked by this. Hey, what's up, YouTube friends? This is the alternative guy here again, out here in nature, getting ready to do another video on another super powerful herb. And this herb is called stinging nettle. And boy, does it live up to its name. Well, before we get started, I want to share with you how we ran across this powerful herb. We're out here on a trail that we walk almost every day down by the river. And my wife and I, we do a lot of foraging, and we have books, and we have we Google pictures of certain herbs. So this particular day we were looking for some other herbs, but I pulled up a couple of herbs, and what we'll do, we'll go back but go back home, and then we'll look these herbs up and find pictures and do research on them. So this particular day, I pulled up a couple of plants, and then this particular plant that we wasn't sure about, I pulled this plant up and said, we'll take this one, we'll check this one out too. So after I pulled it up, I went, we were walking up the walkway, the trail, and I noticed that my hand started burning. And I was telling my wife, I said, wow, why is my hand burning? And so we talked about it, and we walked a little further, and it was really burning. So I said, well, you know, we talked about it, and we said, well, it might be stinging nettle. And we had been looking for it for quite a while. So we turned around, went back, looked at it real close, and then we did some pictures on it, and lo and behold, it was stinging nettle. So that's how we discovered stinging nettle. So now we're going to harvest some today. But before we do that, I want to pass it over to my wife, and she's going to tell you more about this powerful herbal plant.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of The Wonders of Nature. Today we are mixing and mingling with stinging nettle, and I'm going to get a little bit here for us to talk about. You see, I have my gloves on. I have my tongs, and we're going to talk about the stinging nettle. The scientific name of this wondrous plant is Urtica dioica, which means burning dwarf. And how in the world did it get such a name? It got the name burning dwarf because along the stems and under the leaves there are hairs, stinging hairs. Formic acid. When you pick or touch this leaf, it has the same sting that you would get when you get stung by a bee or a wasp. It releases the acids. It releases histamines, but it's nothing that's going to harm the body. There is an allergic reaction, but not a harmful one. This wonderful plant is considered to be a wondrous herb, the powerhouse of all the herbs. It blooms once a year, every year, and the stinging lets us know that it is definitely a plant that wards off all of the other plants in the area. It sets a boundary saying, this is my space. And if you look at it, you can see right here in the surrounding area, you have nothing but the stinging nettle. That's its document of responses. It's letting us know that the duty of this particular plant is to protect and to maintain our body. This is a tonic for the body. It's filled with vitamins A, K, C, potassium, iron, and magnesium. Let me get a plant so that I can show you the root. As with any plant, you have the leaf, you have the root, and you have flowers. This plant doesn't flower until late July, until September. But the most important part of this plant is the leaf. It can be used in smoothies, it can be used in stir fries, it can be used to make as teas, it can be used to make as tinctures. But how do we get rid of the fieriness in the leaf? What you do is to boil it first. Always boil the leaf. Never ingest it raw. And once you boil it, then you're able to partake of it in the body. What else does this plant do for us? It is very good for eczema. The most well-known usage and benefit is it helps during the allergy season. A cup or two of tea a day will take care of your allergy difficulties. Believe it or not, this particular plant is good for the Alzheimer's disease. It works with helping the inflammation in the brain. It's a body cleanser. It is a nourisher of the blood. It helps our kidneys. And those glands that sit on top of the kidneys, the adrenals, it helps with preventing adrenal burnout. The wondrous stinging nettle, a very good plant. And let's just take a look at the plant. If we can come up close to check the leaves out. The roots, which go in many directions, just like the veins, the arteries, and the capillaries in our body, letting us know that it has a whole body effect. This is also a diuretic. Of course, we know that that means it's going to keep us going to the bathroom to release liquids. It's a lymphagogue, which means that it's going to clear out our lymph, the waste that we have in our lymph nodes, our glands. A small plant with many, many benefits. And there we have the stinging nettle. But let me inject here. For those of us who might be interested in going out into the wild to see what herbs nature provides for us, please make sure that you do a lot of research. Never delve into anything new without finding out what it is that you're going to be taking a part in. Nature has so much to offer us, but we want to make sure that we research and find out what it is that we have as an offering before we put anything in our mouth. And in looking at the roots of the stinging nettle, I have to mention that it's very good for aiding in decreasing the appearance of varicose veins, because when we have varicose veins, it means that we are dealing with circulation problems. And there's a bee around me, so I definitely didn't want that. So the varicose veins can be dealt with, decreased, by using this nettle tea. Drink it as a tea. The root is also good for helping with prostate issues, swollen prostates. It doesn't decrease the swelling, but it helps the area of that, the male area that deals with the swollen prostate. And it's also good for trauma situations. If you have been in an accident, if you have had surgery, nettle is very good for aiding in the wellness, the recuperation, the combat. I hope that you've learned something from what we've said about the stinging nettle. And don't take my word. You do some self-research. And what we're going to do now is harvest some of this nettle so that we can take it back and dry the leaves and have some nice tea, some smoothies, and some tinctures. Nettle is our friend. Trying to get the roots because they are important. Before you do this, make sure that you have your gloves. Make sure that you have long sleeves, and make sure that you have some socks.
They always have their own signature.